Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game Bracket AI Game 2 of this Best of 3 series. We're in the quarterfinals right now. mrnoone1 is up 1-0. Thekhumi, losing the last match, gets the pick of whatever map he wanted to play, and interestingly enough, he actually chose the same map once again, Chasm. So this time we're going to see what difference Thekhumi is in an Osprey instead of a bomber. Other than that, there's really not much of a difference here, guys, to really point out. Yeah, really interesting. You normally don't see the fact that when somebody loses, they want to stay on the exact same map again. So that really made it very interestingly for me that I even double checked with him to make sure, like, okay, just making sure you this is really what you want, right? And he's like, yep. It's like, okay. So let's see here how much difference just a mech can make for a player. Not just necessarily the skill of the mech, you know, the abilities of the mech, but the skill of the player with that mech in his hands, and also just the psychological impact of having it as well. You know, Kumi, like I said, is typically an Osprey player. Possibly just the fact that he wasn't in an Osprey already had him a little mentally, you know, psyching himself out almost psychologically. Because he was in a mech that he was not actually accustomed to, which was kind of surprising considering the fact that this is a quarterfinals and a lot is on the line. I mean, this determines whether you get one of the smaller prizes for the 5th to 8th place, or if you're within the top 4 and you get one of the really large prizes. So very interesting that he was willing to test pretty much like, you know, a new mech, say, for him. At such a critical point in the tournament series. It didn't work out for him, but clearly, as we can see, whether it's the fact of the abilities of the mech himself or the different approach mrnoone1 is taking in this particular game, or just that psychological impact of being in something you feel more comfortable with, this game is completely different for Kumi. I mean, this is a completely different... It's almost like we're watching a completely different player here. It's amazing, really, when I'm just looking at this and seeing. That's why I know I said it like 3 times, you know, completely, but it's the truth. Kumi is just showing us a completely different side of him after that last game. So yes, if you were watching and you were wondering, you know, you've maybe never seen Kumi play before, and you're like, you know, wow, you know, he was in the quarterfinals or something like that. You're now thinking, but this could be, he could have stayed too long. He's taken so much damage from that striker, and a striker he's not going to be able to outrun a striker no matter how much up and down Viking dancing that you do. He's going to self-destruct. He self-destructs, denying mrnoone1 the kill. That is just absolutely classic right there. If you know you're going to die, why at least give your opponent the experience and the credit for the kill? Take it away from him, and, you know, at least... I guess you could say die with honor, if you want to say it. I really don't know how else to say it. That was freaking awesome right there. And I just, unbelievably funny. I love that moment right here. So taking a look right now, 31 upkeep to 29 upkeep, so virtually matching on the upkeep this time, unlike the last game. Let's look, what is the skill build right here? Kumi, 1 level of heal, 1 level of carry. mrnoone1, 1 level of strike assorted. Interesting enough, 1 level of creeps. Normally in tournaments and 1v1s, you don't see too many people leveling up that creeps. I mean, yes, it does give you the advantage that you can, you know, your creeps are coming out slightly faster, so you have the opportunity to potentially take over outposts quicker. But it's not the most commonly picked upgrade. Komi's taking so much damage. And because he's panicking, he had to drop the bombs. As you can see, most of his pumpkin bombs were complete miss. He's trying to take out this jammer here. Even if he takes out this one, there's this secondary backup jammer right here. But you're not going to do it if you drop your bombs too late. And most of them are actually completely missing. 3 jammers now out on the field. That was a successful bombing run. 2 jammers down and 1 bombing run shot. That is the unfortunate thing with jammers. They are incredibly weak, incredibly fragile. But until you hit the appropriate level to build that Sonya, it's jammers, or you could wind up losing. Kumi can't stay there. Outpost had no energy left, but Mr. No One didn't realize it. If Mr. No One would have stayed, he would have probably secured that kill. Mr. No One realizing, okay, Kumi's dropping bombs. My jammers are not going to be effective anymore. I mean, unfortunately, that's almost now a complete waste of a loadout slot, but he's going to completely switch over to Sonya's. 2 Sonyas out on the battlefield right now. Kumi bringing Geminis on the side, clearing out these Jackals. Mr. No One here to respond. 52 upkeep for Mr. No One at full max. Kumi only at 40. So right now, Mr. No One still is a little bit better position on the battlefield, but it's still pretty much all in this mid-battle right here. And really right now, there's not too much happening. Yes, Kumi has 6 artillery cannons out. Mr. No One has none, but interestingly enough, these artillery cannons, even having 6 of them out, have really been ineffective just looking at the unit upkeep itself. Mr. No One is way ahead in Kumi, and now even gets a kill. Granted, the Hunter Seeker technically got the kill in the end, but that was Mr. No One being all over Kumi so much. And now Mr. No One gets an opportunity. Can he find something? He's looking, he's trying to find something, but it's already too late. Kumi back in the match. Mr. No One now bringing artillery online 5 minutes into the game. That is actually really long when you think about it. Before you bring artillery online for the first time, is waiting so long. But now the base will go neutral so fast. Never mind that. Not even worth mentioning anymore. So yeah, guys, we are pretty much in a mid-battle. So, again, I could just tell you, oh, the artillery's shooting, but again, you guys see what's happening. So let's see some hype, let's see some pumped up people for the fact that you guys are witnessing a moment in Air Mech history, the Air Mech Strikedown 1v1 tournament, sponsored by Carbon Games himself, putting up $250 worth of prizes for this tournament. Organized and presented by Grizzly Wing, one of the most active community factions in the game. Almost every tournament and community-based thing does tend to happen through GW. So yeah. And plus, keep in mind, guys, if you are watching right now live on our Twitch channel, there are exclusive OPTV live giveaways going on in our Twitch chat, being handled by Molten Lava. These giveaways are not part of the official giveaways of this tournament. These are additional bonus giveaways that we ourselves are sponsoring ourselves for you that are watching. So for any of those giveaways that are ticket-based raffles using your OP marks, those are exclusive, only on OPTV, all for you guys because, well, you know what? You guys are OP. So, of course, we're going to go above and beyond what just the tournament had and do more for you guys because you guys all deserve it. Up, and here we go. Kumi is actually giving up on this mid-battle and is actually going to try to sneak some units down through this bridge. There is still all the neutrals for these to deal with, so he will lose a little bit. But Mr. No One scouts it. Kumi dies to a Jackal, and Mr. No One scouts it and knows that it's coming. The absolute worst case scenario for Kumi. Because now all of his artillery cannons and stuff that were left here are completely lost. Mr. No One completely securing this middle outpost. And most of these units are... Actually, Mr. No One doesn't have to respond. Most of these tanks are being destroyed by the neutrals. I mean, yes, of course, some of them are going to get through, but, I mean, in all honesty, you guys can see a lot of them were destroyed. Kumi realizing that this is it, this is all in, he's taking everything he has everywhere, and he's devoting it to this one push. If this push is stopped, Kumi has pretty much nothing left. Mr. No One knows that it's coming, he's trying to line up his tanks to do the most amount of damage as this line comes through. This line is going to be coming through single file, so it is going to be very vulnerable to a defensive formation. But Kumi coming in, trying to use that heal ability of that Osprey, trying to keep his units alive. The units are then being distracted by the mech themselves, and it's actually turning in favor of Kumi. Not what I expected to happen here. This push did turn in favor of Kumi, something that should have been massively, so much of it wiped out due to the fact of the mech support, the heal aura, and the fact the mech itself took the hits and the damage to pull it off of his units. He's got these units in here. He's in here. He's low energy, though, so he's got to be careful trying to spread these units out because he's going to run out of energy quickly. Deploys off that heal aura once again. Most of his units almost at full health. 2 Longhorns are really all that stands in. Those Jackals are doing nothing. But Thekhumi is about to die if he's not careful. He needs to stay alive. He cannot die to this. This is his all-in push. If he dies, this will be horrible. This could be tying the game up at 1-1. He does go down, but the damage is so real. Can Mr. No One somehow survive this? He's deploying Jackals, but Jackals don't do a whole lot against Geminis. And because the Geminis are focused on the base itself, they're not being distracted. They don't care. 10%, 5%, 3, 2, 1. And there we go, guys. Game 2 goes to the Thekhumi, tying this series up at 1 game apiece. Unbelievable comeback on the exact same map, just changing your mech, the only difference. Unbelievable to watch that one. I enjoyed it. I hope all of you watching it enjoyed it right now. Don't go anywhere because we now are moving on to our 3rd game of this best of 3 series, where we're going to find out who it is that truly moves on in this tournament and who will be eliminated and secure the 5th to 8th place prizes. This has been the Air Mech Strikedown 1v1 tournament, sponsored by Carbon Games, presented by Grizzly Wing, brought to you by OP TV Live.